Okay, we have a bonus segment with Howie Wiesenberg tonight. And what I want to talk about in our special bonus segment, anytime you have Harvey on for a bonus segment, it's a good one, but this segment I want to do, it's going to be on Black History Month, because as you know, February is Black History Month. And the reason I'm bringing Harvey in for this segment is that one of the wonderful facilities here in Long Beach is the MLK Community Center. And Harvey, being in public service, had a great impact with James Hodge and getting the MLK Center done and being such a wonderful facility. So Harvey, let's go back to the beginning and talk about your role in making the MLK Center happen here in Long Beach.
Growing up in Long Beach, and I want to tell you about the strength of our city. The diversity of our population is an indication of the strength of our city, because everybody from any culture, religion, or whatever, there are no differences here because everybody really cares and loves each other in this community. If there's ever a problem or anybody has a problem, all the word has to get out onto the street in Long Beach, and everybody together will do whatever is possible to help that family, or the resource will be available for them, because Long Beach cares about each other. That's what Long Beach is all about. Now, the MLK Center, I probably before Hodge was born. In 1981, I had the ability to cut the ribbon. I got the funding for the MLK Center in Long Beach. Now, Long Beach is only 3 miles long. We have a West School, we have an East School, we have a Central School, and in the center of town, we have what they call the North Park area. And what we have here, mostly people of color who are down here because of the housing projects. But everybody here was always united in some way. When the black church burnt down, everybody from the community helped rebuild. When the Catholic school was being built, all the Jewish people helped to build the Catholic school. But anything it's done here, and as I said, the diversity has been here everlasting. Long Beach is one family of 35,000 people who care about each other. Now, what is important in the society and the world in which we live today? Unfortunately, we have people, because they don't have knowledge or an understanding, they don't know until you bring to view the difficulties and the hardships that take place in cultures, different cultures coming into our country, and how difficult it was for everybody. It was the Irish, it was the Jewish, it's the people of color. I mean, but the diversity of our country is our strength. And if people work together, we have success in giving a quality of life that you're not going to find anywhere like you will find in our city. And it's a very interesting story, and I'll share this, will make you smile. Being part of the leadership in the state assembly, we have a Black and Puerto Rican conference. It's a minority conference on a weekend that comes up in Albany. So James Hodge is a nice young man, and I liked him because he was very involved in helping people within his community and working with the churches, the black churches that are here. We all did everything together. So I sent him up there for the Black and Puerto Rican Caucus weekend. Now, every elected official from the federal level to the local level, the state level, were there, and James Hodge introduced himself. I'm James Hodge, and I'm from Long Beach, and I'm Harvey Wiesenberg's son. Well, there were some kind of remarks that came back to me, and then, oh really? And, you know, but he's like my son. He's a wonderful kid, and I want to share something with you. James Hodge on the MLK Center, when we had our superstorm here, we had the fire department come down there to fix that building, the MLK Center, because most of the people of color live in this area. And they had no electricity, so nobody had food or had an ability for a hot meal. And the school's open, and we got our kids coming to school, and then my wife Ellen and I went down there to the MLK Center. School buses pulled up. Hodge said, come inside. We're gonna have some hot food. And kids were coming off the school bus. And I said to me, we're running out of food. So I said, let's get to the bank. Ellen and I took out $10,000 and gave it to them for food. And I tell you, when I see the families in the black churches, and I see the people that are working together, it's just an amazing to get to know the people. If you don't know people, you have a vision from what is proposed to you from other people. But the answer is you see the love and caring that people have for each other. And it's wonderful. Go to any religious facility, any church or a temple. But when you see families together, you know that there's hope in our society and in our community. But the black church provided, and the MLK Center provided all kinds of programs. For youth, for the elderly, education, and it's a wonderful resource because people of color, they didn't have the opportunities that others had because they were not really accepted. But the reality is, if you become an athlete and a ball player, you learn to respect the person for who they are and what they can do, not for the color of their skin or their religion. And you learn to give respect to people who earn the respect because really good people are there. All you have to do is look for the good, not all the evil and all the misinformation that is brought to view by people who are haters. And there are haters in this world. And can't polarize our community, you can't polarize our country, but that seems to be happening in the day that I'm speaking right now. And unfortunately, we have too many good people to not let this happen. But MLK Center, James Hodge, the black churches that are in our community, we all do everything together to help each other for a quality of life. And the diversity of our population in Long Beach is really the strength of our city. So I thank God it's a week, a special week for people of color. Let's all give honor and respect to those who deserve it and understand the difficulties and the hardships that they went through in coming through to this country. A lot of them, if you look back, they didn't want to be here, they were brought here, and they suffered enormous tragedies in their development in our community. But we have some real heroes who have done so many great things, especially athletically. God bless.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, one of the young men who grew up going to the MLK Center day after day, made marvelous history here in Long Island. His name is Ja'Cory Teamer. He was a young man that used to play basketball and run and join all the programs at MLK as a youngster. Ja'Cory Teamer went on to make history. He became the first wrestler in the history of Long Island to win 5 state championships representing Long Beach High School. So I know James Hodge and the folks at MLK Center were extremely proud of Ja'Cory Teamer, and now he's at Arizona State, but that's another example of the good things that are happening here at the MLK Center in Long Beach.
I want to mention one other fellow, Sherman Brown. Sherman Brown was an unbelievable wrestler and a football player, person of color, and was a super athlete. He had scholarship for football, got injured, and he came back to Long Beach, and he was actively involved, and he said, can I get a job in the sanitation department? I said, why are you picking that department? He said, well, I said, well, what? The answer really is, I made him, who was a super athlete, I made him learn how to swim, trained as a lifeguard, and he was the first and only person of color to serve on our lifeguard patrol. But everybody knew him, loved him, and respected him. And unfortunately, he died at an early age at the MLK Center playing ball. His heart exploded. But I'll tell you how small the world is, because I have a special child, and the lady who takes care of my special child is Sherman Brown's aunt. And it's amazing because we like family. So Sherman Brown, he was just a wonderful, wonderful person. But he was a hero to all the people within our city.
That's a great story, and I'm going to end with this, Harvey, and I want to tie in that your love for James Hodge and the MLK Center and your love for special needs, telling another great story, a great way to end this segment, is that how about the story of Isaiah Bird? Here's a young man, MLK Center, born with no legs. And Miguel Rodriguez and the folks at Long Beach Wrestling took him under his wing and said Harvey's famous saying. And Harvey always says, it's not what you can't do, it's what you can do. And even though this young man had no legs, people in Long Beach believed in him, and they made him into a championship wrestler, youth wrestler. A great example of the spirit and togetherness and the belief that anything can happen here in Long Beach.
And if you want, I could tell you a story about this youngster. You should see him surfing on his hands and his head on a surfboard. It's amazing. I'm telling you, God gave us a special child. And I want to tell you, because he is actively involved in our surf programs that we have here. Long Beach, more than 20 years ago, we started a program for people with disabilities to be able to teach them, and people without limbs even, to teach them how to get out on a surfboard and enjoy what God has given us in Long Beach, a beautiful ocean and beach. And the student surf camp, this is something that I sponsored and started, as I said, 20 years ago with Jim Mulvaney. We have our youngsters surfing, and it's amazing, hundreds of children that any kind of a disability. But we get them out there, and it's going to take 1 minute to tell you the story. There were so many. I carried a young lady who couldn't walk on the beach out, got her on a surfboard, and what we do is we have a jacket on her, and the surfer paddles out, and they take the board, and they catch a wave, and they pick her up, and she's standing up, and he's holding her, and you look at their face, and you see their eyes go like this, and open up, and a smile on their face. The mother said to me, I never thought I'd ever see her on the beach. See her riding a wave on a surfboard was more than she could imagine. And when I was standing there, a young man was there, and he ran over and gave his father a hug. And Ellen and I looked at him, he looked, and I said, are you all right? He said, that's the first time my son ever hugged me, and he could never speak. And he said, wow, unbelievable. I tear up, because you can see the happiness that we in Long Beach provide for those who think that they can't do things, but we focus on anything and everything that children can do, not what they can't do. And it's amazing the courage and the wonderful God-given ability for children to want to have happiness and achieve it. But the happiness that's here, that's what makes Long Beach a happy city. We are a happy city that gives love and caring. So anybody is welcome. Come down anytime, enjoy what God has given us. God bless you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Harvey Riesenberg. Thank you.